Anyway, it is an honor to get to talk to you guys today. I am going to share a PowerPoint and walk through a program, one of the more recent programs developed by the Training Academy. Jeremy and Wayne asked me to talk to you guys about it. So first of all, welcome everyone. Please know that when I'm presenting that this is an interactive experience. So I will ask you guys questions and I hope that you'll jump in and participate and talk with me. So let's get started. Again, welcome everyone. It's an honor to be here. The program that I want to talk to you about today is called the Agent Mastery Experience. So this program developed about a year and a half ago. So Dan and I sat down and decided we wanted to think through and rethink training. We have a lot of training programs. We have trained and coached literally thousands of agents. So we talked to brokers, managers, and sales agents all over the country and some a little out of our country and asked them, so if we're going to rethink training, what's missing? The goal of training obviously is to make people more successful. So what is missing in training programs or maybe in coaching programs that you've experienced that we can develop and add to and create something new? So here's some of the things. I'm going to share some of the things today that they shared with us. One of the things they talked about a lot was that training programs that they went to were always great. They learned a lot. They learned some strategies. They learned some things to do. And right after the training program, it was great because they went out and they implemented what they learned, and some of it made a difference, and they wanted to keep doing it. But what happened was our life takes over and they start to slide back. This is them telling us that, start to slide back a little bit and do things the way they've always done it. And so they just felt that that was the gap. It was like, how do I continue to implement something that I know might make me more successful? So what I want to talk about first is one of the reasons why that happens. And that is something that is very powerful that we all have. And we have a saying at the Training Academy that is, our habits are stronger than our knowledge. So our habits are stronger than our knowledge. How many people do we have on the call today, Wayne?
We're at 20 right now.
Okay, so there's 20 people on the call right now, 20 pretty successful real estate agents. And if I bet if I passed a piece of paper out and gave all of you a quiz on your knowledge, that's what you know about the real estate industry and how to succeed in the real estate industry, you would all pass with flying colors. But what I want to talk to you a little bit about today is not your knowledge, not what it is that you know, but your habit. What is it that we do when we get nose to nose, belly to belly with a customer? Well, typically what we do is, even though we know we should do one thing, we revert to our comfort zone. And it's our comfort zone because it's a habit that we've created for ourselves. It's the way we've done something or the way we have always done something. So what's a habit? So a habit, here's the definition, the book definition of a habit is, it's an acquired mode of behavior that has become nearly or completely involuntary or without effort. Meaning we don't think about it. We don't have to think about it. There's no work involved here. It's just something that we naturally gravitate to. Happens without conscious knowledge. Now, the thing about habits is they are very powerful, which means our habits can make us very successful. Our habits can also make it harder for us to succeed. So sometimes our habits actually become an obstacle to our success. How many of you have experienced that? How many of you are kind of tracking with me? Put a yes in the chat. I'll watch it, or I'll get Wayne to watch it for me. Let me know. Does that ring true with any of you? Okay, here's my next question for you. What is success? So when we sat down to talk to agents about what is missing, and they said there's things that we know we should be doing to succeed. We're just not there yet. And so we asked them, but what is that? What is success for you? We got a lot of different answers, and we came up with a definition of success. But I'd love to hear from you. So some brave soul, unmute yourself and reach out and tell me, what is success for you? Give me a phrase, a sentence, anything. Who wants to talk?
This is Terry. I would say one thing that I view as success would be to have a good balance between work life and personal life. Have a good work-life balance. At that point, then you can say you're successful.
I love that. That's dead on. I like it.
Yeah. And
I think there's a lot of people that feel that way. Who else?
Also meeting and or exceeding what your goals were financially, emotionally, all the way around, personally and professionally.
Wow, you might be one of the people we talk to. Yeah, that's dead on too. Anybody else? All right, so talking to a lot of people and coming up with our own definition, kind of massaging it a little bit. This is what we came up with, and just give me a Y in the chat if any of this rings true to you. And Terry was talking about some of it. First one people told us is success is consistently exceeding my annual income goal. So we know how great it is to hit the goal, like Terry was saying, hit my goal. But how great is it when we exceed that goal? How motivating is it? How empowering is it? How great do you feel when you not only hit the goal, but you went past it? It's a great feeling. So yeah, that is success. Another one people told us was running my business versus my business running me. So I don't know about you, but I have felt at times, well, this thing has taken on a life of its own. And how did that happen? And then we're struggling to reel it back in. So staying in control, running my business versus my business running me. The third thing they said, enjoying guilt-free time with my family and friends. So if we honestly look at that, enjoying guilt-free time with my family and friends, if we take a really honest look at that, are you able to spend a Sunday afternoon with your family, to go out on a Friday evening with your friends and not feel guilty in this fast-paced real estate environment that we are in right now? It's a good question. Taking 4 weeks off versus 2 weeks off. Many of us struggle just to take 2 weeks off without fear, guilt, or my phone. So I know we all are attached to our phone. If that phone gets away from us, we have huge separation anxiety. Oh my God, where's my phone? Something might have happened. I didn't see it. I'm expecting a text. So imagine taking 4 weeks off per year without fear, guilt, or your phone. So hopefully some of that is ringing true to you. If it is, throw up a Y for yes in the chat there. Awesome, I'm seeing them. Got some people responding. All right, so the question remains then, if that is success, what Terry said and some of those things, if those things ring true to you, why is it that not everybody experiences that? What happens? What gets in the way? So to dig into that, to try to take a 30,000-foot view of why that happens is looking at the real estate business cycle. We're going to try to explain it from that angle. So this is the real estate agent business cycle, but we call it the cycle of life. So the first part of the real estate business cycle is business development. That is everything that we do to find a customer, a client, someone to work with, business development, right? The second part of the cycle is servicing the business. So once we find somebody to work with, servicing the business is everything we do to get to the next phase, which is contract to close. So getting that contract, getting it to the closing table, and then of course, getting our paycheck, because this is how we get paid. Okay, so I want you to think back when you first got into real estate, and what you did was you put all of your mental capacity, all of your resources into business development, which is exactly what you needed to do. You needed to find business, you needed to find somebody to work with so that you could start to make money. And then we always say that something really terrifying happened. Somebody said yes. They said, yes, I want to work with you. I want you to find me a home. I want you to sell my home. Terrifying for many people. Then what did we do? Then we put 100% of our effort into, 100% of our mental capacity, 100% of our resources, everything into servicing that business, because that was the only person we had to work with. Then somebody said, yes, I want to write a contract. Yes, there is a contract on your house. I want to look at contracts for buyers. Okay, now what did we do? 100% of our effort into getting that from contract to close, because that's what we needed to do. We need to get a paycheck. So we get all the way through that. And it's like, phew, made it. But what happens is then we came out the other side and we felt like we're out of business. Anybody remember that feeling? It's like, wow, I did it, but now what do I do? But now what I want to do is I want to use that same real estate cycle, or the cycle of life, to look at the business cycle now through the lens of today's market and through the lens of a busy real estate agent. So in this market right now, I don't know if you've noticed this. I don't know if it's happening in your market. I hope I'm going to find out in a couple of weeks. But what we've seen happening is, because interest rates are low, buyers are plentiful, listings are flying off the shelf, so there aren't a lot of them to choose from. We naturally have a whole lot of buyers and very few listings, which means we might have 5, 6 buyers for one listing. What is naturally happening to a lot of real estate agents is they are gravitating to where the business is, to where they feel like the customers are. And that's naturally with lead gen and the buyer side of the business. But what if we all had the skills, the strategies, the confidence to work the real estate agent business cycle a little bit differently? What if that circle of life was working for us instead of against us? Then what would happen is we get a yes and we are joyful and thrilled, like most of you are now. When you get a yes from somebody, oh my goodness, here we go, we're off and running, we know exactly what to do. And we have the skills, the strategies, the confidence to split our business. Now 50%, I'm still looking for business, I'm still trying to find clients to work with, but I have the strategies and the mental capacity to split my time and split my resources 50-50. So now I'm still looking for business, but I'm servicing the business that I have. And then somebody says, yes, we're going to write a contract. Now I know in this market, you may be writing 5 or 6 contracts for a buyer to get that one thing closed. But someone says yes, and we're off to the races. And now we can split ourselves 33, 33, and 33. So in this scenario, the real estate agent business cycle is working for us. We're moving through it. And now when we come out the other side, we can experience growth. And there's that word, success. So here we are, everything is going well. It's a well-oiled machine, and we're growing and we're succeeding. So the goal always to keep this going is to make sure that you have the strategies, the skills, and the confidence. And we call that technique mastery. So the goal in any course that we do, that we teach, any coaching program that we get involved in, if you know anything about the training academy, the goal is always technique mastery. And the definition we use for technique mastery is being able to duplicate your profession on demand. Think about that. Duplicate your profession on demand. So we liken that to, does everybody remember the pilot Sully who landed the airplane in the Hudson rather than crashing it? Okay, that man had technique mastery. He could duplicate his profession on demand. As a matter of fact, he flew that plane in a way that even the books told him couldn't be done. But he had done it so many times over and over again and presented himself with so many different scenarios that he knew what that plane could do. And he knew what he could do to bring it home and land it. And he did it. That's technique mastery. So do we have that in our industry? It's something to think about. We always talk about that. It's like, wait, would you want a real estate agent to be flying your plane?
Eagles will be back for the top 10 team in the country.
Well, Chad unmuted, but I didn't understand what you said. All right, so technique mastery. We need technique mastery to keep it all running smoothly. So in business development, do you have the skills and the strategies to make business development smooth? We might know what we need to do, but again, what are your habits? Where are the bumps in the road that we can smooth out so that that part is working correctly, so that you can move on to the next phase and still have the mental capacity to split your time? Then there's servicing your business. So servicing the business is, do you understand and know how to leverage all the winning differences of ERA, of real solutions, of great choice? And are you in command of all that you can orchestrate it so that your customers have the best experience they can possibly have, and they know there is no place else to go for real estate transactions? So servicing your business is the business is a lot about you orchestrating it and you being in charge of it. Then there's contract to close. So are there any bumps in the road here that keep you from having that machine work and you come out at the other end with growth and success? So what do you do by habit in this phase that we could work on that would make it flow better for you? All right. So back to agent mastery. So how can the agent mastery experience program help you keep everything moving? I might be able to better explain that by explaining how it's different. It's a little bit different than training programs that you've been involved in before, and maybe any coaching experiences that you've been involved in before. The big thing that is different about agent mastery is this: your needs and challenges drive the content. Your needs and challenges in this market today, what you are going through, drive the content. So every session that we do, I always have content that I think we should cover. But when we get on our call and you say, hey, Judy, this is what happened in our market this week. Hey, Judy, this is what I'm about to run into. I've seen it happen before. What can we do? We can pivot and address those needs and those challenges. So we bring solutions that really help you move the needle and become more successful, to exceed those goals, and to do those 4 things that make you feel like you're successful, because it's your needs, it's your challenges, it's your goals. So how do we do it? How do we get in there and make the sausage, so to speak? So one of the things we talk about in agent mastery is emotional intelligence. So show me hands or give me a why if you've heard of emotional intelligence. It's a phrase that gets thrown around quite a bit. Emotional intelligence is not so much about what you know or your intellectual knowledge, but it's more about how you relate to people. But in agent mastery, we also throw in another component that really doesn't get a whole lot of press, and that is your emotional intelligence about yourself. What motivates you? What keeps you from making a goal? I know there are people I know that will go right up to that goal and never quite take the step over the line to say, I made it, I've exceeded it, I'm good to go. And it's not because they don't know what to do, but there's a block there somewhere. So can we unlock that? And think about what would happen if we did unlock that. The next thing we do, obviously, is strategies and skills, because we're all about that at the Training Academy. It's all about techniques, strategies, and skills that we take and apply to challenges that you are facing in today's market. So what can we do to overcome those challenges? What can we do to make a change? The other thing we talk about is self-management. And we always use the term self-management versus time management, because people tell me, oh, I ran out of time. I didn't have time to get that done. But we use the term self-management because we all get the same 24 hours a day. So we can't really manage time, but we can manage ourselves. So we talk about strategies to help you manage yourself. And here, Terry said it, work-life balance. What's your work-life balance like? What are the bumps in the road that we can smooth out to make that better for you? The other one is goal achievement. It feels great to achieve goals. And in Agent Mastery, what we do is we set incremental achievable goals that propel you into gradually making bigger goals for yourself that you can actually achieve. And then the last component is peer and team accountability. So I love team accountability. If any of you have ever taken courses where you are teamed up for reporting purposes, and that's what we do in Agent Mastery. It's for reporting purposes only, but it creates that great team spirit. All you people from Ohio, you know, probably most of you are football fans. The team spirit really motivates you. So that is a component in Agent Mastery. But there's also something else that is another piece of it that makes Agent Mastery different. And that is the peer accountability piece. So when you join the program, you get an accountability partner. So how is this different? Accountability partner in Agent Mastery is a person that you meet with once a week, but it's not about sharing best practices. So it's not about, hey, I think you should try this. This is what works for me. Or maybe rehashing something that we did in the session. Well, let's go back and review the techniques we talked about in the session. It's not for that. It's a very structured, quick meeting once a week where the accountability partner becomes your mirror, your honest reflection of how you're doing and what you can do to move forward. So they will ask you questions and you ask them questions that really cause you to think, so that the next time that we get together, the input that you give me is dead on. It's about your true needs or blocks that you have and the challenges that we're experiencing in the market. So that's another piece that is a little bit different about this program. So a little bit more, I'm almost done about the program, then I want to hear from you. So it's a 3-month program because going back to the beginning, we're trying to change habits. So we can't really change a habit or make any progress in less than 3 months. So it is a 3-month program. We meet together 2 times a month. So we do 2 Zoom sessions per month. There is a weekly then accountability meeting, like I just described, your accountability partner you will meet with weekly. It's a quick meeting. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, but it is a key component. It's very powerful. Then there is the last piece that is different probably than a training program that you've taken before, and that is what we call Got a Minutes. So a Got a Minute means you will have my cell phone. And if something goes sideways during the week, you can call me. Literally, you can call me. I mean this. You can call me. You can say, hey, Judy, you got a minute? This is what's going on. This is what happened to me. Or maybe you're finally getting the listing appointment with the listing in the neighborhood that you really wanted, and you want to make sure your ducks in a row before you walk in there. You can call me. You can call my cell phone. The only caveat I'll put to that, if I am busy with another client, I'll call you back as fast as I can, but I can't always answer the phone immediately. 99% of the time I do, but sometimes I can't. So that is the last component that we think makes it different, makes it more accountable to us too. All right, so I've done an awful lot of talking, and now it's your turn. So open it up, unmute yourself, let me know what kind of questions, fire them at me, I'm ready.
Here, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. I would, something that you said kind of caught me off guard just a bit. You were talking about how the market is right now, where there's more buyers than there are sellers, and agents are gravitating towards buyers. I would look at it a different way. I would go out there and find listings, because listings apparently are the commodity right now, instead of chasing after extra buyers that, let's face it, there's one house, one buyer can buy it. But I think that would be the better direction to go find listings.
I couldn't agree with you more.
You have the gold.
You're right.
He who has the gold makes a golden rule.
That's exactly right. Right now, there is huge competition for buyers out there. So why don't we go to the area of the business where there's less competition? There is less competition for the listing right now than there is for buyers, because people are gravitating towards the buyers. So why don't we pivot and go after the listings? Because that's the way you find good work-life balance, to your point. So I couldn't agree with you more. And that is the direction that we want to take agent mastery. That is a huge component of it.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I had to say.
Awesome. Who else?
Hey, Judy, how would you help get agents refocused on their goals? Because I believe that's a big part of losing track of having the business run them. How can you help us refocus agents on getting focused on their goals that they set at the beginning of the year?
Okay, that was great. Is this Dan?
What's that? I'm sorry?
Is your name Dan? I
Yes.
just saw your, okay, awesome. That's a really good question. So goals for some people are easily set and easily hit. And for some of us, it's not. And I'm one of those people that loses track of goals. So what we do is we use that peer accountability portion. That's one thing we use. And we shouldn't underestimate the power of that. When someone actually asks you, what do you need to start doing to hit that goal? What do you need to stop doing to hit that goal? And it makes you refocus. I don't know if you've heard any of our other programs. We talk about Galileo. And Galileo said, he was a 16th century philosopher who said that you can't teach a person anything. You can only help them discover it within themselves. So when you talk and talk and talk, people tend to shut down. But when you ask a question, their mind has to engage. That question makes them engage and think. So when you have someone each week that is asking you, and not challenging you in a real challenging way, but just asking you, what about your goal? What did you hit? What didn't you hit? It's a very structured meeting that we do. The other thing that we do is the goals that we set are incremental and achievable. And they may vary person to person. And that's important too, because your goal may not be the same as your accountability partner's goal, but it's still a goal to you. And so if we build them slowly and we use that peer accountability and we have the skills and techniques to start hitting them, we begin to focus on them. Hey, they're achievable. I did this one. Yeah, you're right. I can do this to achieve it. I'll work on this, whatever it is. But that's what we do. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's good.
Good. Who else? Who else has a question?
Hi, I'm Rebekah down in Florida. How you doing? The issue, I guess my thing is as salespeople, we love our wins, we love our successes. And, with this market, I feel like I'm kicked in the teeth daily. Finally got 4 pending and all 4 are either tidewater or seller wouldn't do a darn thing and there's mold or whatever. And it's like, how do you keep yourself motivated in such a market that I feel like I get kicked in the teeth every single day?
Yeah, we're hearing that an awful lot. A good friend of ours who's a coach, he has a lot of coaching clients at many, many different levels, but he had a huge producer who just keeps turning it out every year. I mean, she's doing great. She called him from her Bentley, okay, in California, and crying, literally slumped over the steering wheel, crying and saying, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
Just, I don't want to do it. It's not fun anymore.
Sure.
And so when I talk about emotional intelligence and when I talk about working through that each week, it's therapeutic. It really is. When you look at what happens to you each week and you have a group of people that can help you work through the skills and strategies you need to, number one, not let it stop you from moving forward. And number two, actually just giving you one incremental thing to do that might make a difference to break up the logger jam, then it's very relieving. And so we're going to work on that because there's a lot of that going on, a lot of that going on. People just are burning out, and that's what we don't want to see happen. That's when we sat down to rethink training. That's another reason why we did it, because there was a lot of people telling us this market is taking off, it's getting crazy, and I'm burning out. Help. Help. So yeah, that's a very, very good point. Very valid. Who else?
So this is Wayne. I don't have any, I don't have a question, but just kind of piggybacking off of Beth and Dan and Rebecca, and then what we've chatted a lot about, Judy, and just how I know Dan. Oddly enough, we talked quite a bit about coaching involving mental health. Like, so there's a piece of the coaching that you do that involves, you know, the mental health piece of being an agent, in not only in today's market. You know, 5 years ago you had a different, you know, something. So it's kind of cool with you know, with the interaction with you, the interaction with your accountability partner, you know, all of that. So it was a great point, Rebecca, to bring that up. And it's bigger now. And my concern is, you know, it's the good agents that have the issue. You know, it's the one-offs are, you know, what, I did a deal, it closed. You know, like they're just, you know, they're happy-go-lucky, but you know, it's the ones that are, you know, trying to kick butt and do everything they can, and the prospect, you know, and all that, get 4 pending, you know, like so that's a huge piece of one of the reasons why we kind of brought the coaching to the forefront. So
yeah, and I don't know about you, but I got into real estate to make sure that I could have a comfortable life, that I could have all those parts of the success piece that we were talking about. And when you start to do not want to get up in the morning and do it anymore, you need to do something to change that, because this is the greatest business. It is still the greatest business out there. I wouldn't want to do anything else. So whatever we can do to keep ourselves in the game, that's what we're going to work through.
Sure. But you know, you just start guessing yourself. It's like, okay, was I really a good agent, or was this just some fluke that I've done for the last 23 years, you know? And then you just sit there and you question yourself, and it's interesting because, you know, some people get it and some people don't. It's like when you're used to producing, to me, I get the high from helping people. And it's like, I haven't had that high forever. And it's like, finally 4 VAs I got pushed through, and now all 4 just blew up. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah. No, but if you can be objective and take a look at it, then it'll make you feel a whole lot better. And you'll say, yes, I was a damn good agent.
Yep.
I was, but it takes that objective look at it. And sometimes we can't do that ourselves.
Sure.
It's too hard. We're in the weeds and we can't do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great comments, you guys. Anybody else? Okay. Here's something else I'd like you to do. And this is really for Wayne and Jeremy more than for me, but put a Y in the chat if this sounds like something that you want to do, just to give them an idea of where we are. Let them know what you're thinking. Here's what we do going forward. So we want to kick this off, and I threw this date out there. This may change, don't hold me to it, but the week of July 12th, which is the 3rd week in July. There's a reason I want to do that. It's a 3-month program, and I want to get it done and completed by the middle of October. So if we start the middle of July, we will get there. That means we'll have a deadline of Friday the 9th to let Wayne know that, yes, I want to be part of this program. If we get a huge response, because I understand there's a lot of people that didn't make it today, we're going to send this recording to them. If we get a huge response, I keep the classes 20 or under. If we get a huge response, we'll do 2 classes, not a problem. But your deadline will be Friday. Does that make sense to you, Wayne, Jeremy? Deadline next Friday?
Yes, yeah, and we will, just so you guys all know, I'm going to send the video out, you know, kind of send that out later today or tomorrow. And then I'm going to kind of send a summary email of what we've talked about, what our goals are. Just so you know, we do have options for individual one-on-one training with Judy, or we have the option for group. So we have a couple options. So I kind of want to send that all out, and we'll, you know, then we'll just kind of get response and see, you know, see what we can do going forward. So
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I will
Any
be the
other
first.
questions?
I will
Yeah,
be the
what?
first to say that I will be the first in a group if folks will join me, because this just is natural for me to have you know, have a push in coaching and stay mentally strong and stuff. So so hopefully you guys will join me, but my goal is to be in a group. So
Awesome. Good. We will have fun. We'll move the needle. That's the goal.
yeah,
There's always a way. That was my Top Gun story I was going to tell. There's always a way. So when I went to teach this, because I didn't tell it during my presentation, so I'll just throw it out there. So my first week 1 Top Gun in Grove City, I flew into town, and Dan, we always talk about, before you go, you got to make sure that you line your hotels up for the next 7 weeks at least, you know, make sure you have them ready. I flew into town, and you guys had the girls softball tournament was going on. Who knew? So I get there, and literally there are no hotels, nothing, like for miles and miles and miles and miles. So I have a similar story to Wayne's. I actually slept in my car in front of the Days Inn, I think it was, and walked into the ladies' room right before it was time to go on to do the first, and, you know, splash some water on my face, fixed myself up, walked in there and said, "Hey, I'm here." That was my there's always a way story.
that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, guys. Wayne, I'm going to hand it back to you and Jeremy. And I just want to say thank you guys for letting me come and present to you today. It was an honor. Like I said, I feel like I know you guys already. And hopefully I will see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Judy, for well, we've had many calls prior. You know, I've known Judy and Dan for quite some time with my Realogy and ERA stints. So so super appreciative of you taking the time, agreeing to do this, first of all, for us. And then of course taking the time to get us ready and then have the call today. So
Awesome. My pleasure.
We're going to send this out, have a bunch of folks be able to watch it, rewatch it, get some information, but definitely reach out to me if you have any questions after this call, or text or email me. But otherwise, just kind of expect a kind of a summary email to just our invitees, and then we'll see if we can't put together some, you know, a group to get started sooner than later. And once we fill a group, it's likely we're going to wait, you know, till that group's done, and then potentially start another one. So, so we definitely want to get that group going, and it can be as low as, I mean, it really can be as low as 2, but you know, like 6 to 12 to whatever, you know, and that's just a matter of us working it out with Judy at that point. So,
yeah.
Judy, this is Ben. I do have a quick question. You keep referencing Top Gun. Is this the Top Gun program, or is this something completely different?
No, it's completely different. There's updated skills and strategies in it. You will feel the essence of Top Gun though, because Top Gun is all about technique mastery as well, but this is much more pointed. So I like in Top Gun too, although it's very interactive because you're in squads and stuff in Top Gun, it's still a sit and listen. So I'm not a coach that's going to, as in Top Gun, hand you a book and say, okay, turn to this page because this week we're going to talk about this. That's not the way this program works. This is, like I said, I'll always bring stuff to the table. I'm always going to have something that I want to talk about, but it's not turn to page 394. And we're going to look at what's happening on that page today. I'm going to show you the best dialogue for your next cocktail party or something like that. I'm not that kind of coach, and it's not that kind of sit and listen program. So, but you will feel the top. If you've taken Top Gun, you will feel that. You will feel that it's very, very similar as far as skills and techniques and the get it done attitude.
Okay. Yeah, I only asked because I did the Top Gun program, which was great. Did it with Dan.
Yeah.
A few years back. Well, quite a number of years now. But since no one else asked, is there a cost to this? And
Yes, and Wayne and Jeremy have to address that with you, and they will. They will before you have to make your decision, I would think.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Ben, I'll make sure that you guys know that. The one thing to know is because I think because of the relationship that that Jeremy and I have with the Trading Academy, they're taking well care of us with cost. So, and believe me, they are not just sitting down there completely bored looking for, so we went to them. So yeah, but that it's, like I said, I'm all in with the group piece because that works best for me. So, but the cost, I think you'll be happy with the cost for sure. So, but I'll make sure everybody has that.
All right. Thanks, Wayne.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
And I'll say one more thing is kind of going with what Ben asked and then what you did, Judy. I love that the group, or even the one-on-one, if you chose to do that you are driving the content. So, not to get totally off track and just go on a tangent, but like you come into your coaching session and something happened or whatever, it can be a piece of that Zoom call is how do I deal with that? How do I get over that? Rebekah losing a deal kind of thing, like, hey, I need some mental health to start, whatever it is. So I love that the group drives, at least some of the content month to month, because obviously that's the reason we would join. I don't need someone to tell me how to do it or to tell me what I need to say, hey, this is the help I need. And then, get the guidance to push the whatever, held accountable to get me better. So. Exactly.
And us, Dan and I have been doing this for a very long time, and it's hard to stump us. Not to say I have all the answers, because another saying we have is we can't always be the smartest person in the room. None of us should be. So if you bring something to the table that I don't have the right answer for, guess what? We have probably the best trainer coach, bar none, in the industry right down the hall from me. Wayne knows my office. I could probably throw something at Dan and hit him. So you get him too in that sense. I have some, I can do one. Is it 4? I can do one. Is it 4 in 1 week? Rebekah, what do you mean by that?
That was Rebekah losing 4 deals in 1 week. And
oh, sorry.
I said, oh, Rebekah and her one deal. I'm like, no, it's 4 in 1 week. I can do one. It's 4 in 1 week.
Oh yeah, because Wayne said Rebekah lost the deal.
No. Yeah. I didn't mean to make it like nonchalant, but
yeah, whatever way. All
right. Yeah, there you go. All right, guys. All right. I don't. Yeah. Please, and Wayne, if you get a question, reach out to me. I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining. I definitely will get the recording out and then kind of a summary email, but 100% am available for you guys to ask one-on-one any questions or whatever. So.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Take care.
You too.